The roller coaster season of the Cardinals takes another steep drop with the performance of Matthew Liberatore against the Oakland A's. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast. If you haven't gone to YouTube yet, check us out there. Like, subscribe, and comment. That way you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when the new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. So let's start with apologies for no show yesterday. I wasn't feeling very well, and no, it wasn't because I was hungover or anything fun. I had one of those annoying stomach bugs yesterday. It got a hold of me and just knocked me on my backside. Kind of like the way the Oakland A's knocked Matthew Liberatore on his backside last night. So apologies for not being able to put out an episode yesterday, but I'm feeling much better today. But let's talk about what happened last night. I mean, what a disappointing performance that was from Matthew Liberatore, especially when you saw how good he was against the Tampa Bay Rays. You know, you see that type of performance on the road against one of the top offenses in baseball, and you start to understand why people are really, really high on Matthew Liberatore. It's why he was a first-round draft pick out of high school. It's why the Cardinals traded for him. It's why, despite his slow climb through the minor leagues, that people still rate him pretty good. He's got all the tools, just has to learn to be consistent about it. And unfortunately, those inconsistencies were on display again last night against the Oakland A's, who are not a very good offensive team. In fact, they are statistically the worst hitting team in Major League Baseball. And to see a line of 4 1/3 innings, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 10 hits, and 3 walks, again, in 4 1/3 innings? Like, what is that? What is going on there? I fully expected Matthew Liberatore to come out and dominate again, because it was the Oakland A's. And to get this, bad habits is the words that were used after the game when Libby spoke with MLB.com's John Denton. So let me read you a little bit about what Libby said after the game. Definitely, I feel like I reverted to some old habits after the first inning. Obviously, that's not what I want to do, but that's what happened. Now, the bad habits that he's referring to are the mechanical ones that apparently were out of whack last night. And you could see it not only in the accuracy of his pitches. Again, he had 3 walks, the 10 hits. Obviously, he was missing his spots, but also in the lack of velocity compared to what he was throwing in the game against the Rays. The velo was something that, stands out, obviously, to most of us because, you can see it up in the corner of the screen every time he throws. And against the Rays, his pitches had a lot of life to them. His four-seam fastball averaged 94.3, his sinker at 95. But then on Wednesday against the A's, you get the four-seamer coming in at 92.5. The sinker was down to 92.9. It's stuff like this that is why they put him on the weight training program that they've got him on to try to get that velo up, because he's a totally different pitcher when he's up a couple of more miles per hour. And to have him come out and lay an egg like that against an inferior team like the A's, it's just really, really frustrating for everybody involved. And Liberatore echoed that sentiment after the game, saying, it's frustrating because I felt like I turned a corner a little bit in St. Petersburg. I felt great in the first. The velocity was there. The stuff was there. And I just wasn't able to find it after that. So pretty frustrating. And there's not much more you can say about that. The bright side about this, it stinks watching a young talent, a young prospect who you have high hopes for him in the future. It sucks to see him be great one day, not so great the other day, but that's life in baseball with prospects. I mean, that's just how it normally is. The bright side of all of this is that because the season is in the toilet, now Matthew Liberatore doesn't have to sweat the fact that he had a bad outing, that he's going to go get sent down to Memphis or anything like that. This is part of the learning process for him at the major league level, kind of like the way Jordan Walker is still trying to learn how to play the outfield at the major league level. You know, there's going to be ups and downs for all the good stuff we've seen Jordan Walker do in the outfield. More recently, you see plays where he doesn't look so good. But hopefully Libby can take this bad start and watch the tape, figure out what he was doing wrong, apply what he's learned from it for the next time that he steps onto the mound. That's really all we're hoping for at this point, and hopefully he becomes more consistent. For now, the Liberatore haters, you've got your moment. You can have your fun in the comments section and on Twitter. Go ahead, take your shots, talk your smack. It's fine. You've earned it. He had a horrible game against the Oakland A's, out of all people. It wasn't like he was facing the Braves or the Dodgers or something. No, the Oakland A's is who he struggled against. So have your fun. Go for it. But just remember, Libby's likely going to be a very big part of this rotation next year, barring something catastrophic, which we hope doesn't happen. Injuries. They continue to be an issue. We get into the later parts of the season, and the Cardinals have suffered a couple of more of those last night. But could the injuries that happened last night lead to a quicker arrival of top prospect Masyn Winn? We're going to discuss that next on Locked On Cardinals. Okay, Locked On Cardinals fans, I want to tell you about a new app. It's called Bunches. If you haven't heard about this yet, Bunches is a new app. It's built just for sports fans where you can chat about sports in real time. Click the link in the show description, whether you're on YouTube or you're listening on the podcast. You've got the show description there to join the app, or go to the Apple App Store and download Bunches right now and get in on the conversations that the other Locked On Cardinals and Locked On Sports fans are having right now. It's a place where sports fans chat, just like if you were to go out to the local bar or tavern with your buddies and you guys are just chit-chatting about the Cardinals, or whether it's going to be about the Blues upcoming season, what's going on in the NFL. You can do it on Bunches. Now, if baseball is your thing, you're listening to a baseball podcast, Locked On MLB group chat is on Bunches. You can go there now and connect with other baseball fans, chat about your favorite team, and keep up with the latest MLB news. This Wander Franco stuff is crazy. Talk about like Tampa Bay just, whew! You've got that news. You also got the news that they lost McClanahan for the rest of the year and likely all of next year. That's huge. Have any questions or comments about today's episode? Chat about it in the Locked On MLB bunch on Bunches. You can find us under the LO_Cardinals. That's where I've got us listed as. In fact, I use the Joe Buck Slam-a-lam-a ding-dong photo as my photo on there. I missed that commercial. It was so good. But feel free to chat about your team every day. Download the Bunches app. And when you do, our friends at Bunches have featured the Locked On MLB bunch in the Discover tab. You can also click the link in the description to join the Locked On MLB bunch community today. The Cardinals battle the Mets tonight, and you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Again, thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Feel free to leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter anytime you want. Feedback is always welcome and encouraged. I've been catching a lot of it today because I posted on Twitter yesterday how excited I was to see Matthew Liberatore throw again after he looked so good against the Rays, and then he comes out and doesn't do very well. And I put a broom in there because I thought they were going to sweep the A's, and I'm catching it today. But I deserve it. I put it out there. So feel free to communicate with us on YouTube and on Twitter at any time. The injuries, we know they've been a problem all year. Again, it shouldn't be an excuse, but we've had a lot. You know, when your projected starting outfield continuously goes on the IL, it's a pretty big adjustment. And it was so bad that we saw Brendan Donovan and Tommy Edman playing more in the outfield than we saw them on the infield at one point. Right now, the Cardinals are without Donovan, who we know, out for the year with the elbow. Dylan Carlson is out with a left oblique strain. gone a couple of weeks is what we're being told, but you know how those oblique things go. You never know when they're going to come back. Nolan Gorman didn't play in the Oakland series due to the back issues that he continues to labor through. And on a side note, I'm really hoping that this does not become an ongoing issue for Nolan Gorman, because he's been dealing with it all season. And I know at this point of the year, there's no need to push it. So maybe they're just being cautious with it here over the last couple of games. But at the same time, it worries me a little bit. This is something that might be a chronic problem for him. Wilson Contreras out after leaving Monday's game with tightness in his right hip. And then last night, you saw both Lars Nootbaar and Tommy Edman leave the game early after getting hit by foul balls. No, they weren't in the on-deck circle or anything like that, but they fouled balls off themselves. Nootbaar, okay, both of them looked very, very painful, but Newt's was really tough. As a guy, he fouls the ball and it goes right off his newts, basically. The growing area. Very, very painful stuff. If you've ever been hit there, oh my goodness. According to reports, he had to be taken from the ballpark to a non-emergency medical facility for additional exams. And so far, as of the time of this recording, we haven't gotten any updates on how he's doing. But, you know, like I said, for any guy who's ever taken a blow to the family jewels before, you know how this feels. It's horrible. Once while I was playing, the worst I remember ever getting it, I'm playing shortstop, and I was getting a relay throw from the outfield. The throw short hopped me, so I went down on a knee to kind of corral it, and the ball went up and hit me right in the undercarriage. I was wearing a cup, though, because I was on the infield, but it got me right in the bottom area, and wow, that was miserable. So we can only hope that it's nothing serious with Newt. Sometimes these things escalate and they get worse. So we hope everything's okay. The guy tried to fight through it. He went out to the outfield, but they had to pull him after that. And then Edman, you've seen this a million times, fouls one off his right leg and tries to walk through the pain, and then a knot began to form on his right calf. So they're like, all right, bud, let's get you out of here. He had some scans taken, and luckily no fracture was found. So he's dealing with essentially what is called a right calf contusion. But you know how those can tighten up, and then you just can't really move all that well for a couple of days. So the availability of both these guys very much in question for tonight's matchup against the New York Mets. Now, if there's a silver lining to this, if one of them would have to, you know, take a stint on the IL because of these injuries, would that mean that top prospect Masyn Winn might get a call-up? According to Derek Gould at STLtoday.com, no in-game moves were made at AAA Memphis to remove a player in preparation for a promotion. Top prospect Masyn Winn completed the game with a hit, a walk, and 2 runs scored in the Redbirds' 10-0 win at Memphis. And outfielder Juan Yepes hit 2 home runs and drove home 6 of the 10 runs. To join the active roster, Winn, who is recently back from an injury that has the Cardinals cautious, would have to be added to the 40-man roster. The Cardinals expect their prize shortstop to make his debut this season. They're just considering when will be the time to assure him playing time. By waiting to call Winn up, which is a question we get all the time, but Gould explains in here again, if you wait to call Winn up, you got to limit him to less than 45 days on the roster and fewer than 130 at-bats. If they can do that, the Cardinals would maintain his rookie eligibility for 2024. The reason that's important is it would give the team a chance to receive a draft pick if he wins the NL Rookie of the Year award, and win the chance to secure a full year of service time regardless of when he's promoted. So that's why the delay is happening. It's not that Masyn Winn doesn't deserve the call-up. It's not that he's not ready. It's nothing like that. It's for that reason alone, is they're just waiting through this deadline, which, by the way, the deadline for those 45 days passes today on Thursday, August the 17th. So if Nootbaar goes on the IL, I don't know if Masyn Winn getting called up is something that'll happen. You might see a Juan Yepes get brought up, somebody who plays the outfield. But if Edman specifically goes on the 10-day IL stint, it would make sense to bring Masyn Winn up because he could be your starting shortstop, boom, right away. What we do know is that at some point Masyn Winn is coming, and we're just kind of waiting on that. It's a matter of when, not if. Right now, stats 283, 17 bombs, 60 ribbies, 17 stolen bases, 97 runs scored at Memphis. So there's not much left for him to prove down there at AAA. So keep your eyes peeled on our Twitter page at @LO_Cardinals for any updates. Of course, our YouTube page as well. I will most definitely drop one of those shorts. They're like 60 seconds long if and when he gets called up. The Mets are in town next. We're going to preview that series because somebody kind of important on the mound tonight. We'll do that next here on Locked On Cardinals. For a championship team, it's all about making sure that every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time that you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. The reason why is because they've got the eBay Guaranteed Fit, where you can be sure that every part that you need fits right, and it fits right the first time around. There's no need to keep going back and forth and sending parts to them and back to you. It doesn't work. You don't want that, okay? You don't want that. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know that the part will fit, or you get your money back, which is even better, because why would you want to pay for something that doesn't fit in your car? Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game. And when you shop on eBay Motors, confidence is what you'll have. With over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time, cruising the streets of St. Louis, doing what you do best, and that's enjoying the rest of this summer. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. The Cardinals are back home to face the Pond Scum New York Mets. You guys remember that nickname from back in the day? Pond Scum. That's what we used to call him in the 80s. Adam Wainwright is going to be on the hill tonight, and you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. So Waino will be taking an 8th crack at getting career win 199 tonight. 8. His last win was on June 17th, 2 months ago, when he beat, guess who? The New York Mets. That's right. Beat the Mets in New York. That game, Adam threw 6 1/3 innings, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits. 2 of those were home runs, and he struck out 3. That's how we got win number 198. Career win 198, I should say. So nothing great. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 home runs. That's not great, but it was enough. It was enough with this Cardinals offense when it was at, when it had everybody going. I mean, you got all these injuries right now. So, Oakland shut them out last night 8-0. So I can't really tell you what kind of offense is going to be on the field at Busch Stadium tonight. But since that game, since Adam Wainwright beat the New York Mets, things have not gone well for him. In the 7 attempts to get the elusive career win 199, he has thrown 23 innings, allowed 41 runs, 38 of those earned, on 53 hits, 8 of them for home runs. He's walked 13, struck out only 15. That is an ERA of 14.87. Opponents are hitting an incredible 461 against Adam Wainwright in those 7 starts. It don't get any worse than that. He is statistically the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball this season, which doesn't give me any joy to say that because we love Adam. Now, in one of those starts, I'll give you a little silver lining on there too. He actually threw quite well in Arizona. He goes 5 innings, allows 2 runs on 4 hits, but the bullpen, blew it. Couldn't hold the lead. The team did go on to win that game. I think it was 10-6 was the final, but outside of that, it's been a bloodbath, and most of us have trouble watching it anymore. But at the same time, it's like a train wreck, right? You're always intrigued at what is going to happen in an Adam Wainwright start. His last one, he doesn't make it out of the second inning, just gets creamed. When you watch these games, at least when I watch them, I'm always curious if the old Waino is going to somehow show up and just dazzle us one more time. Like, I still think he gets the 200 wins somehow, some way. I just feel like he lands on it, nails it, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. But It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. It's been horrible. And the dude's got heart, no doubt. And he says he's not going to quit. He spoke with the media yesterday. Benjamin Hockman over at stltoday.com did a piece and got these quotes from Wayno, who said, I think you are all looking at it different than me. I think you all are looking at it start to start. He's done or not done. When I'm looking at it as I have a month and a half left because I'm not going to quit. I'm just not going to quit. And I'm expecting to be great. So one of these days, I'm going to go out there and it's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I want to make quality pitches and get guys out. And if I didn't think I could do it, I would quit. I'd walk away. So I'm really stubborn about that. That's why I keep coming back, and that's why I played for 18 years. Again, he's got heart. I mean, a lot of us, if we were just getting creamed, there's no way you go back out on that mound, right? You would be like, all right, I get it. I'm done. A lot of fans have already said, like, can he just stop? Just stop it. It's too much. It's too painful to watch. Ollie was asked about the start tonight, and he said, hopefully it goes well, and then we can keep going. If it doesn't, we'll sit down and we'll have another honest conversation as to what does this really look like moving forward and what's best. Will tonight be the last we see of Adam Wainwright as a starter if he doesn't throw well? I guess that's a possibility. I can't see them doing that to him, but I guess it's a possibility. If Adam goes, all right, I'll go to the bullpen, I'm sure they don't have any problem doing that. So that's some drama that I'm definitely tuning in for tonight. I just might be doing it like, you know how you watch a scary movie when you were a kid and, you cover up your hands like this, like you cover up your face and you just kind of peer through the cracks between your fingers awaiting Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger or whoever it might be to come out and start killing people. That's probably how I'll watch it tonight, just to be safe. One thing that might be in his corner, though, is that the Mets, they're done. They were sellers at the deadline, got rid of everybody, and haven't been hitting much since the trade deadline. 24th in the league in OPS since the beginning of August. So, I don't know. Maybe Adam pulls a rabbit out of the hat tonight. Although the Mets just took 2 of 3 from the Pirates, and in the series, they scored 7 runs, then 4, and then 8 off the Bucks pitching. Good luck, Wayno. Good luck. Thanks for making Locked on Cardinals your first listen every day. Be sure to catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast for the series against the Mets with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Tonight at Busch, you got Adam Wainwright, and you've also got the return of former Cardinal Jose Quintana to St. Louis. 0-4 on the year, but he hasn't pitched bad. 0-4, ERA 3.03. Only has 5 starts because he had the rib thing going on when he started the year. So first pitch tonight, 6:15. St. Louis time. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter. That's LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you're hitting that like button. The like button is very much important. Help our channel and our love for the St. Louis Cardinals grow. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I will see you next time on Locked on Cardinals.